Jackie is back. This is the person we had a connection call problem with. We're going to give him one more, the old college try, as they say. So Jackie, he, him from Mississippi, the modal ontological argument for God, take 2. So we're going to do a test with Jackie. Can you hear us? And did we get your question right?
Yeah, got it right. Thanks, you guys.
Okay, it's still a little tricky to hear you.
Yeah,
let's give it a try. Why don't you give us a 30-second soundbite, and we'll see if we can understand and have a conversation.
Okay, so basically the modal ontological argument is a variation of the ontological argument formulated by the philosopher Alvin Plantinga. If you're familiar with him.
Let's cut to the chase. Hold on. You sound great. I think we're both familiar with the arguments. We don't need the history lesson. What's your point about them?
Basically, I believe that since most atheists, you might not, but I think most atheists would concede the existence of a triune God is possible, is necessary to exist, because of the whole possible world.
What if we say it's not possible? Right. What if we say it's not possible, or hang on. What if we say it's not possible, or that you haven't demonstrated that it is possible? What if we take either of those routes? Then what happens? Where do we go?
Well, if you say it's not possible, you've adopted a burden of proof, which I don't think you need.
Okay, but then we go back to the second leg, which is, what if we take the route of saying you haven't demonstrated that it is possible? What do?
Possibility, shorthand, possibility itself must be demonstrated.
Thank you.
Is it possible for a thing to be and not be at the same time? Is it possible for A to be A and not A at the same time? We've never demonstrated that that's true, but we accept it to some degree. But it should be demonstrated before we actually accept it. So is it possible for pigs to fly? I haven't demonstrated that it's possible yet.
Right.
So have you demonstrated that it's possible for your definition of God to exist?
I thought if you can't.
Oh shit, we're cutting in and out again.
We can't hear you again. Did you move?
I really want to.
Either he moved or the cell tower moved. That's better. Go ahead.
I thought anything which cannot be demonstrated to be impossible, we assume for the purposes of a conversation that it is possible, although not necessarily probable.
No.
There might be people out there that take that position. I don't take that. I tend to take a I'm open to the sort of the navel-gazing hypothetical discussion, but I definitely think that possibility is a word that is rife with problems and pitfalls, and therefore my default position is possibility must be demonstrated. How about you, SR?
Yeah, pretty much. And I think one of the biggest problems when we talk about possibility is we are equivocating all the freaking time and we don't even realize it, right? So like a lot of times what we're talking about, especially in these types of conversations, is we're talking about logical possibility. We're saying, does this violate any of these 3 logical axioms here? And if it doesn't, then we're saying it is in the logical construction possible, right? But then we very quickly make this shift where we talk about like, oh yeah, so does that mean that pigs can fly? And it's like, well, so now we're talking about possibility in the tangible world around us. And the tangible world around us has a lot of other bullet points that have to be included rather than just the 3 laws of logic, which was the first type of possibility we were talking about. So this is what the struggle is, I think, where Cross-Examiner and I are coming from. So you're making that shift real quick, and we're trying to say like, whoa, hang on a second, man. You can't just because it's not logically impossible based on a logical syllogism doesn't mean that it is representative of the world around us in terms of possibility. Does that make sense?
I mean, I suppose that makes sense, but I thought Alvin Plantinga's formulation means that if it's logically possible in any possible world, it has
great
to
question.
necessarily exist in the real world.
What is the number one most common critique of this construction by Alvin Plantinga? What is the number one very well-known critique and pushback against this?
Well, usually it's like well, is there a best possible pizza or something like that?
Okay. My suggestion, because that is not what I would have cited, my suggestion, Jackie, is go read all of the critiques to this first before you continue to go down this route of trying to discuss the modal ontological argument.
Read the dissent
Read
opinion
the dissent.
before
Yes.
you read the majority opinion.
Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. Go look up, because this is not something that somebody just came up with yesterday, right? This is like when somebody comes to us and they go, "Oh man, but haven't you heard the Kalam? It's so amazing." And it's like, well, the Kalam has some points to it. I'm not gonna, just discount it entirely, right? But the thing you're saying it doesn't really do that. And again, I'm not the one saying this. It's not me. It's the other thousands of people that have talked about this for decades now. And they're the ones that you should go listen to and go, well, gosh, that's really interesting. I don't know that they did actually refute that point here, or maybe that's a good point, but they just didn't flesh it out well enough for me. But go get all of that first in your tool belt, and then come back to us and tell us why the modal ontological argument proves God and nothing else, apparently, like just tangible, demonstrable evidence, right? Which, is the case for basically everything else in the universe, apparently, except for this God. So, like, we can get to that later, but go have in your tool belt, just honestly, for your own personal gratification and education, man. Just build yourself up more and make this argument even stronger by really knowing what the other side is going to say. Because again, like, we just started out by just going, yeah, but what if we just don't say you've demonstrated the possibility? And already it's just like, oh, cool, we don't have anywhere to go in this argument. And like, that's the baby step, man. That is the baby step on this one.
Yeah, and I can't agree anymore. As I said to the last caller, read the dissent before you read the majority. It's the same concept. You should know the problems before you you can be satisfied that the majority or the author that you're reading has overcome those problems. And so Alvin Platingo is not the first person to bring this up. It dates back to the ancient Greeks. It's been discussed for eons. It is definitely something that people find interesting, but it has its problems, like everything does. If it didn't, we would probably be all theists. If it didn't, somebody would have won a Nobel Prize and we wouldn't be having this call, right?
Right.
But if along the way, when you're doing your research, you do find the best of all possible pizzas, please let us know, because that is the most important.
And does it have pineapple on
implication? No. What are your thoughts there? I like to keep it light sometimes, Jackie. What are your thoughts about what SR said there? Is that a good idea to go read the objections and really try to understand them and then see how Platinga tries to defeat them?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't looked too much into the objections. I have read the basic one of the objections, which is the idea that you can replace God with any other entity, but if there are other arguments that I don't know about, I should probably consider them.
Yeah, and Jackie, and I don't want it to sound like I'm beating you down or harping on you or anything, because
this is great.
This is exactly this. I mean, this is beautiful, man. This is where we want people to be, because I can tell you the only time that I ever actually learned anything in my life was that moment when I went, oh wait, yeah, no, I don't know what other people say about this. Oh shit, man, let me go look. Let me go check it out and see, you know what, maybe there actually is something to this whole soul thing, I don't know. What do people say against it? What do people say for it? I just don't know. That's awesome, dude. And come back to us. Go read I think next week is J Mike and I. Go read a little, take a few days, chill a little. I don't know if I'm not going to suggest you do it. Do whatever relaxes you is what I'm going to say here. Do whatever relaxes you, because that's legally acceptable for me to say. Read, have fun, and come back. Give us a call next Sunday, and let's talk about this some more, man, because this is a fascinating subject.
Yeah, I want to applaud you, Jackie. I'm going to give you the best caller of the day award because of your straightforward discussion. You answered questions, you asked questions, you proposed alternative takes. it was great. And even if you come up with a different conclusion, we can come back to it later and have a more interesting discussion. This is a weak area for me. I'm leaning heavily on SR here. I do know that my analysis ends with there must be a perfect pizza and possibility must be demonstrated, but that's about it. So I'd love to learn more, and maybe you can be my teacher and have a conversation with J Mike and SR, and I can listen to that and see how things are going there. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, if you guys are really cutting short on time, we can end it here.
Okay, give us a call next week. Give us a call next week, brother.
I really appreciate it, Jackie. I genuinely really enjoyed talking to you, and do the reading. Call back whenever it's appropriate. J Mike and S are perfect people to talk to with this level of sincerity and interest in trying to understand an issue. They can explain what they know, and you can explain what you found out, and see if anybody's got any conclusions. So have a great one. I really appreciate the call. It was a good call, SR.
I love that, man. I love that. I agree. You're totally right in your characterization of that call and Jackie in general. You know, responsive, open, sincere. And I love whenever we have an opportunity to let people know that it doesn't fucking matter. We're on this show. We're taking calls. Thousands of people going to watch this, say all kinds of things in the comments about how stupid we look or what dumb thing we said, whatever. It doesn't matter, because it is always okay. If it is true, if it is the case that you don't know, it is acceptable. It is right. It is the right thing to say, hey, man, I don't know on that one. Let me go look. That's good. We should all want more of that in our lives, damn it.
Yeah, it might be, I have to think about this, but it might be the number one problem on the planet is not enough people are willing to just say, I don't know.